Hello everybody and welcome to another Twilight Zone review. Today it is Season 3, Episode 24, To Serve Man, written by Rod Serling and starring Lloyd Bachner as Chambers, Susan Cummings as Patty, and Richard Keel as Kanamit. And this is definitely one of the most famous Twilight Zone episodes with one of the most famous twist endings, and I think both of those things are justified. And I will be talking about the twist ending when I get to the end of the episode, but I'll start at the beginning. We start with a man named Chambers, and he's somewhere, but we're not sure yet where he is, and there's a voice telling him to pick a meal. And Chambers seems very annoyed by this, and he says he's not hungry and doesn't want any food. We then find out that he is in outer space, and this is an excellent setup because he will be narrating, little parts throughout the rest of the story. And he goes back in time and explains how he wound up where he is. And we find out from the UN, the United Nations, that there is an alien called Kanamit. It's a group of aliens, actually, and they're coming all around the world. And there is some concern, about who they are and what their motivations are. So we get to a point where we find out that one of the ships has landed, and one of the Kanamits, actually a representative for them, he walks in. So then we get the opening narration, and after that we go back to the Kanamit, and he's in the UN, and he says they come as friends, and all they have is honorable intentions. So they want to set up visits, between Earth and space, and we're not told where their planet is, we just know they are from somewhere else. So they are asked all kinds of questions, like about the nature of their help, what their motivations are, and they say they have no, motivations. All they want to do is help, and all they ask for is one thing, which is trust. Now, at this point, most people seem to be buying into this, but there's a group of people who are leery, which makes sense. There's always some reluctant people, and we find out that the man, our narrator from space, Chambers, we now go to him, and we find out he's a decoding specialist, and there was a book left behind by one of the Kanamits, at one of the meetings, and his job is to crack the code and find out what's in the book, because the theory is they will be able to figure out what the Kanamits are up to, and if it's on the level, if it's good, or if it's bad. And we're also introduced to a lady named Patty who's been helping with this, and she's very excited. She comes in and tells Cummings and the others, we were able to crack the title, which is To Serve Man. So this makes everybody much more at ease, because, they must really be here to serve man. But as we'll find out, to serve man doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means. So we go to the next scene, the second half of the episode, where we see the Kanamit representative being tested. They test things like his heartbeat, and they're also asking him questions, to test him out. And he passes this test with the machine. It acts favorably towards him. He says their only motivation is to bring peace and to end hunger, war, and suffering on the earth, as we'll find out that the Kanamits do in their own special way. So everybody's really buying into this, and we now see that visits are being scheduled between the Earth and the Kanamits in space, and people are really excited about these visits. They probably shouldn't be, but they are. And we also see them being weighed. This is kind of a hint to the twist ending that I never picked up on the first time, but they're being weighed as they get on the ship by our buddy the Kanamit. So we go back to a scene with Cummings and Patty, and they're still talking, and we find out that Cummings has pretty much given up on deciphering the book. He has a pretty good feeling about this, and he is going on, one of the trips to space as soon as it opens up. And Patty says she's going too, but apparently she's not going till a later flight on the UFO, and she's still been working on the book, so she says she's gonna try and finish that, while she's still on the Earth. So then we cut to the second last scene, and we see Chambers getting ready to go on the flight. Everything seems normal. And Patty comes running out, and she tells Chambers not to get on the flight because she has finished deciphering the book, and it is a cookbook. So to serve man, well, they really are literally serving man, I guess, but not in the way I ever would have imagined. This totally floored me and blew me away when I first saw this episode. I'll get to that a little bit more after I talk about the last scene. So in the last scene, we see Chambers back on the ship, the UFO, whatever you want to call it, where we started the episode. And we now understand that, what his position is. And he asks everyone in the audience. The Kanamit comes in his room because he threw his food on the floor. He doesn't want to eat, and he asks the audience. He speaks directly to us, which I thought was effective. Are you still on Earth or are you on the ship? And then he says it doesn't really matter because eventually we are all on the menu. So a very disturbing and very effective ending. Now, the reason I think this is a great episode, besides some of the normal things I would say about a great episode, this is one of those episodes that feels like it could be cinematic, It feels like it could be a short film, and I've talked before about how anytime 60s TV can feel like a film, that is a compliment. This could easily have worked as a short movie. And also, the twist ending is actually given away when you read the title of the episode, yet I personally never ever saw it coming for a minute. I just didn't think of To Serve Man in that context. And the fact that they gave it away in the title and still pulled it off as well as they did, to me, makes this an all-time great episode with definitely one of the top 5 memorable twist endings in my opinion. And it's well acted, directed, and written as well. Nice job by Serling and the whole crew. So I really can't find any fault with To Serve Man, and I give it a 5 out of 5. This is a must-see episode for fans of the original season series. There's a reason it is an all-time classic, and I give To Serve Man a 5 out of 5. And as always, thank you very much for watching.